the longest run you've ever done?
I did a 100-mile run. I still remember it about mile 85, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. So you have a headlamp on, you have a flashlight, you're just still running all night long. And so when I got to the top, I knew I had about a 15-mile stretch, and you really feel like you're like no man's land. Yeah, you start feeling like a lot of voices in your head, and I think ultimately.
Hi.
Whoa.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, let's see. I'm 56 years old, married, 3 kids, 3 grandkids. You can call me Marathon Man. That's my CB handle at work.
As far as a marathon, for people who might not know.
26.2.
26.2 miles?
Yeah, 26.2 miles.
How would that compare with the 100 mile?
You're covering a distance and being there by yourself for a long time. It's got the silver buckle for anything under 30 hours, and you got a brass one for over 30 hours. So I did it, and they engraved it. I did it in 29 hours, 45 minutes.
100 miles.
100 miles.
That would kill most people.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. How did you keep yourself going? It must have been painful. What makes you keep going?
Man, sometimes I think the motivation of going was the big question in my mind: am I a quitter? So every time I took a step, I answered that question. And before, when I was saying that if you don't have if you aim at nothing, you hit it every time. So my goal really ultimately wasn't on the finish, it was taking a step at a time. And each step I told myself that I'm not a quitter. So basically, but for about, I still remember it about mile 85 at the top, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. So you have a headlamp on, you have a flashlight, you're just still running all night long. And so when I got to the top, I knew I had about a 15-mile stretch, and you really feel like you're way, like your body's like, you're really like way kind of out there, like in a like no man's land. I had run the marathons and stuff like that, but kind of and I think it ends up being a little depressing in a way. You have to kind of fight some depression of you start feeling sorry for yourself. You start
really
getting a little bit of like these, you start feeling like a lot of voices in your head.
If I can take you back to that last 15 miles on the 100-mile run, did you feel that you would be better after it was all over?
Maybe I didn't think that I would be better when it was over, but I would be better about myself knowing I did everything I could. There was no guarantee that I was going to finish. I was going to finish healthy, but my biggest goal was to take one step at a time, not be a quitter, and if that got me to the finish line before my 30 hours, then it did. But I will know that if I didn't, I was going to feel good about everything I did. I wasn't going to leave anything on the table, and thank God that, it just worked out where all my efforts did have good numbers and I did finish, but the ultimate goal really wasn't finishing. The ultimate goal was not quitting.
So this sounds like really more of an internal struggle. In that moment, you're not thinking about anything else other than who you want to be.
Exactly. That's it, exactly it.
What would you say to other people who are perhaps thinking, why not be a quitter? It's too hard. Well, why not quit?
Let's see. I think wisdom is doing today what you'll be glad you did tomorrow. And later on, that wisdom then was saying, oh, thank the Lord I didn't do that. Saving some money, maybe it was like, should I spend or not spend? And it's a small step. So I think that, those small steps in life, that's what ultimately, when you have big challenges in life and the big challenges come up, the highs aren't so high and the lows aren't so low, because you know you're going to be okay. You just keep doing what you're doing.
So if I were to try to rephrase that, it's really, again, a matter of perspective. So looking at where you want to be, and in order to get there, you have to keep going.
Totally agree. And then I would say that once you have gotten to where you wanted to go, you can say, oh, this wasn't worth it. But I would say most times that, most paths that are worth not quitting for are worth obtaining. And I think that's the biggest lesson. And so ultimately, all this running for a long time. That's why I did the marathons. I was a little empty with it, honestly. So for me personally, that's why the big run. And then someone asked me, "What's next?" And I said, now if I have to do something next, it kind of diminishes what I just did. So I'm comfortable with what I just
Be
did.
gilding the lily.
Yeah, gilding.